Hi, my name is Olivia Wilyman. I'm a Toronto-based animator, and my installation Freshwater is showing at Trinity Square Video. I just graduated from OCAD University. I was studying illustration and taking a minor in experimental animation. And I found stop motion in my second year. And yeah, I just kind of ran with it and decided to add a minor in my fourth year. Ever since I was like a little girl, I just loved drawing. That was like my main outlet for creativity. I would always do it throughout high school, elementary school. My mom actually went to OCAD, so she really wanted me to go there, and it was a great experience, so I'm glad that I chose that route. And so then taking illustration at OCAD was really phenomenal. I really enjoyed the experience, but I realized that like something was missing. I wanted to tell stories because I love illustrating and I like doing storybooks and stuff like that, but I wanted to show like a moving image. And so I started taking animation courses at OCAD. They have like a couple electives that you can take. Taking those courses, I really started to realize that stop motion is something that I really enjoy. And my professors were very encouraging, and they thought that it would be like a good route for me. It just felt right, and I think that stop motion is very accessible because you can use like anything in your house. You can use anything you find on the ground or like in your room, little dolls and Barbies and things. And yeah, it was just a really good outlet, and then I just kind of ran with it, and then my thesis came about. Freshwater is based around this really strange experience I had when I was a little girl. Around like 6 or 7, I used to spend a lot of time staring in the mirror, and everyone in my family would kind of point it out and be like, "Why are you looking in the mirror, Olivia? What is this action you're doing?" And yeah, it was really strange. I would just kind of stare at my face, and I found it interesting to just observe like my nose and my eyes. And the more I did it, I started to have this like out-of-body experience where I stopped like recognizing myself. And it was this kind of like freaky thing where I would get like this feeling in my stomach, and it was very otherworldly. And yeah, I did it a lot as a kid, and then as I got older, I stopped being able to like have that feeling. It was like something changed. I guess just with age, you kind of your mind becomes a little bit less open to those things. You are kind of adapting to the world around you, and I stopped being able to do it. And so when I was thinking for my thesis, because my Freshwater is my culminating project at OCAD, I started thinking about that experience, and I was like, what does that mean? And like, what can I say about that? And I was thinking about it a lot. It was just this really strange memory, but I think it made me realize that you kind of lose parts of yourself as you get older. Like there's parts of your childhood brain that just kind of fade away. You lose some of your creativity, some of your carefree whimsy, I guess. And when I was thinking about this memory, I was like, I want to reconnect to that. And that's kind of what Freshwater is about, is like reconnecting to your childhood self. It was a full like year or 9-month long project. And the first half of the semester was thinking of the idea. And even though that was less physical, it was hard to like refine the script and get the story right. So that was definitely a pretty challenging part, was like really refining the story, because I'd never done like a full-on film, well, short film before. Everything I had done was very like short, maybe like 30 seconds. So refining the film was definitely a bit of a challenge. I had never built a clay puppet before, so there was a lot of trial and error with that. I made like 5 failed versions of the puppets that are on display now. I would say like honestly every part was a pretty big learning curve. The most challenging was probably getting the puppet perfect, because they're so delicate and you have to make sure that it won't break throughout filming. So yeah, I would say maybe building the puppets was quite a challenge. I would hope that viewers feel inspired to sort of reconnect with that childhood part of yourself. Being open to being playful and opening your mind up to other worldly things, and not being so stuck on your phone. I know it's so classic, everyone says that, but that was honestly a huge inspiration for me, is that I was thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm looking at my phone all the time and I'm not looking at the world around me and looking within. And I hope that viewers take away to just reconnect with your childhood self and kind of find that wonder again. The title came from the idea of looking at yourself through like fresh eyes and kind of a new lens. The main theme in the film is for the main protagonist to sort of see herself through unfettered eyes and more open state of mind. And so Freshwater just felt clean and like open and, you know, fresh water and ocean. And so that's kind of where the title came from, was just this idea of like openness and looking at yourself through fresh eyes. I really want to keep experimenting with watercolor. That's a visual aspect I want to experiment with, because I did that a little bit with this film, but it was mostly stop motion. And I love stop motion. I think it's like a really great medium, and I definitely want to continue with that. But I'd love to explore the illustrative side a little bit more and like experimenting with 2D. I would also love to tell another like personal story. I find that I get a lot of my inspiration from my own past experiences. I'd love to tell a story about other personal experiences, like with my friends, because they're a huge part of my life.